chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita, Gyan Yoga, the wisdom yoga, the yoga of wisdom, whatever you may want to call it. Here, Krishna continues to talk to Arjun. He talks to him about himself, the power of the Lord himself, and he even talks about Nishkam Karma, and he also talks about the pure conduct of a Jnani. And this is the time when he is also talking about Yagna and the superiority of the Gyan Yagna. And he's also talking about the wonderful efficacy of Gyan. So here we're basically dwelling into knowledge or Gyan in a very big way. And we already know the context is that Arjun and Krishna are on the battlefield, and Arjun is very confused, and Krishna is trying to tell him what is happening, how things are, and why Arjun has to perform his duty. So this is a deep exploration of the divine knowledge and the significance of spiritual wisdom, because here Krishna is talking about his own eternal form also, and the teachings basically are highlighting the role of knowledge, sacrifice, and devotion in achieving the spiritual enlightenment and understanding the eternal truths. So when we go on to the key themes, we are talking about divine knowledge and incarnation. Here we are talking about the divine knowledge, which is that everything, the divine thing, is eternal and its transcendence to the temporal limitations. They are not temporary, they are not of this world, they are eternal. Krishna talks about yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharataha abhyutthanam dharmasya tadatmanam smrijamyaham, which means that whenever there is a decline and the evil forces, they start to get up, he takes form, the incarnation is there, God comes in some form to take over and put the order of the divine, and that is about divine incarnation. And Krishna also explains that he manifests in various forms, and he manifests himself in very many incarnations to restore dharma and to impart divine wisdom. And right now he is imparting that divine wisdom to Arjun, and these incarnations, they guide the humanity and help individuals to align with their spiritual principles. And this is what is happening right now with Arjun also. But Arjun is right now confused, so he's looking at Krishna, and that is how Krishna is giving him the knowledge. The second point which Arjun is being told by Krishna is the importance of spiritual knowledge. Krishna is telling him that acquiring spiritual knowledge transforms the mind and soul, leading to a deeper understanding of one's true nature and the universe. And the knowledge dispels ignorance and reveals the eternal truth. And that is how he says that you don't have to be worried about what is going to be the fruit, because if you're aware that you are eternal and the soul is eternal, you will not have to worry about anything, and then he goes on to talking about the role of liberation. He says when you have that spiritual knowledge, it will be able to liberate you from this human form, and you might rise, you will have the insight of the nature of the self and the universe, and it will help you in transcendenting of the material attachments, and you will realize the ultimate reality. And then Krishna also talks about the sacrifice and action, and he talks about the types of sacrifices which are there. He talks about the sacrifice of the maternal possession, and he talks about knowledge and actions. These sacrifices, he says these sacrifices, they purify the mind and align individuals with divine principles. Absolutely, if you are working without any that expectation, and you're just there with the understanding that you're learning something and you're acquiring knowledge and you're sacrificing because there is nothing to lose. So you transcendent, you understand the divine principles of the sacrifices or the yajnas. And then he also talks about action with devotion. He says performing actions as an offering to the divine, it is without attachment, to the results, leads to spiritual growth. If I say, hey Bhagwan, give me this, give me that, God will be definitely looking at you, giving you all that what you're wanting. But if you are devoted to the divine and you just leave it on the divine and you perform your duty, the results are going to be immense. And this selfless approach to the action helps in achieving wisdom and liberation. The fourth point which Krishna takes on to is he talks about acquisition of knowledge. What is the path of acquiring knowledge? And he says the process of acquiring knowledge involves study, a contemplation, and guidance from a teacher, a guru who is himself, aware, and the knowledge should be pursued with sincerity and devotion. And a guru who is himself realized and who's understand the eternal nature of the soul and the God, he will be able to give you that. And right now, Krishna is the one. Who else but Krishna giving the knowledge to Arjun? And he also talks about practicing of wisdom. He says applying the knowledge. We spoke about this in the last chapter also, that if you have gained knowledge, you have to apply it in your actions, through your actions. When you've studied, when you've contemplated to everyday life, you'll have to lead yourself. You'll have to do your karma. You're getting knowledgeable, but you will be going towards an eternal growth and liberation. And this involves living in accordance with the divine's principles and performing your duties selflessly. So when we talk about the modern day perspective and the relationships, how do you think it really makes a difference? So let's talk about the chapter 4's insights on modern day perspective and the relationships. So the very first point was pursuing wisdom in relationships. When you have understood yourself, when you are not really pursuing things just for the material gain, and you have self-awareness and you have understanding of the nature of yourself, then you will know that you can really empathize with others and you'll be fostering relationships in a very different manner. You will be able to navigate the complexities of your relationships and the different dynamics easily, because you will not be expecting anything. You would be just working with the thought process or with the knowledge that you have to make things happen in the right way, and you would not be clinging on to things, because if you cling on to things, that means it's not a selfless effort, right? So being clingy or expectations, they would spoil things. But if you rationalize, if you put your knowledge to it, and if you understand that what you're doing is not just for the material gain, but it is further than that, you will see how the things become different. And when second you talk about seeking knowledge, when you are seeking knowledge in a spiritual level and you are having a personal growth, you will be probably seeking knowledge from others also. You will give the opportunity to others also to explain themselves. You will be making relationships more meaningful and fulfilling, and there will be a camaraderie. It will not be as if one person is pushing their way in, and at least you would be trying to understand things in a different manner, because you're trying to have a personal development and you're trying to enrich relationships in a different manner than the usual. And then when you're talking about applying your spiritual knowledge, when you apply your divine knowledge, you will not be interested in conflicts. You will not be interested in just trying to prove yourself right. You will work on improving communication, and you'll be fostering mutual respect and empathizing with each other. And this will really make the relationships in today's world and time very good. And then you'll be living in harmony and integrity. You will not have to be, pushing your ways in. You will not have to prove a point, because you are at peace with yourself and you are in harmony. And you would see the difference when you achieve all this, when you are not bothered, when it is a journey. It doesn't come just like that. Anything which we do in life is a journey. The problem is we've become too impatient. So we have to learn to understand the idea of patience here also. And when the third point, which is selfless action and sacrifice, definitely if you're doing things and you're not just looking for favors or returns, you would be at peace. You would be giving the respect to others. You will not be expecting anything. Then definitely things will stop bothering you and you will be more at peace and in harmony with your spiritual self. And when you talk about sacrifices, it is also very important. Me first will not be there with you. You will not be just busy trying to look at your own selfish gains, because you will not be worrying about it. You would want to give others the opportunity, and probably if others are put first, you will not mind. And when you will be balancing, this is the way you're balancing your wisdom, you're applying your wisdom, your intelligence, by being communicative, by giving others the opportunity, empathize with them, understanding them, giving them that first opportunity of proving themselves. And you are not self-struck, or you're not trying to prove a point beyond to just think you are somebody mightier. And you will continuously keep growing and continuously keep learning. And there will be, when people are like that, believe me, you will be guided. Believe me, guidance comes to us when we are seeking it. When we quieten ourselves, there will be a lot of guidance. And yes, they say a guru is also wanting to have a good disciple. So you will keep getting the guidance. You'll keep improving your relationships, keep improving your own self, and your spiritual growth would be happening, and your growth in this world would be happening also. So this is a wonderful chapter wherein a lot of gyan, a lot of knowledge, wisdom basically has been imparted by Krishna to Arjun. And the takeaways we know about this chapter, the takeaways are: divine knowledge, divinity is eternal, it is beyond this materialistic world, and any actions you do, if they are selfless, you will be at peace, you will be resting, and you will not be pestering about anything. Nothing will be disturbing you, and you will be seeking devotion, and divine would be there with you, and you will be applying your wisdom, and you'll be making lives happier for yourself and everybody else. This is a very beautiful chapter which talks about a lot of knowledge. It gives us that idea that the day we leave our pursuits of trying to prove ourselves right and just achieve that spirit that we are learning, we are on a journey, we have to gain knowledge, and we have to make sure we don't try to push our ways around. We'll see magic happening. It does happen. Try it out. Thank you very much. Namaskar.